Hi everyone and welcome to another weekend recap video and another video from my childhood bedroom that has now become a plant haven, which is great stuff, isn't it? By the way guys, if you missed it, I collaborated with La Liga's Celta Vigo to make a video on their 100 years of existence, as well as to highlight how Iago Aspas is the definition of a club legend. Such an underrated player, man. And you can win a signed jersey from the man himself. Just check out the video as the giveaway instructions and rules are in the intro there, and follow the link provided to enter that signed Iago Aspas jersey giveaway. That's a big one, man. All right, let's get into it. I know it won't surprise you to hear this, but Chelsea have definitely not improved under Frank Lampard. They look just as hopeless and without a plan under Lampard as they did under Potter. Do they look worse? Or as if this is just a continuation of the trajectory they were on? I don't know yet. Give me another game or two, and I think we'll have a clearer answer for you. But right now, my answer would be yes, they look worse. Which isn't a surprise given it's Frank Lampard, and his managerial career is nothing to write home about, especially compared to his playing career. Chelsea did find themselves ahead of Brighton, but in the second half, I couldn't tell if it was Brighton or Real Madrid out there again. Their equalizer before halftime shifted things in their favor, and Brighton began passing their way through Chelsea with ease at times, blowing big chances along the way, but finally completing their comeback thanks to a smash from Enciso. What a goal. 2-1 Brighton, 3 losses consecutively for Lampard and Chelsea. They haven't tasted victory for over a month now, back on March 11th. Aston Villa, what a run they are on. I may need to do a video on them soon as they absolutely wiped the floor with Newcastle United. 3-0 as Ollie Watkins scored twice and assisted for the other as he had a hand in every single goal, didn't he? That win for Villa actually puts them on a 5-match winning streak, and they have gone unbeaten in 8, an incredible run where they have picked up 6 clean sheets as well. Fulham picked up their first win since February, actually. Their last win was on February 28th in the FA Cup, but they beat Everton. Some great goals in this one as well, by the way. Everton, they're in big trouble at the moment as they are level with Forest on points as they battle it out for 17th. Crystal Palace and Hodgson, a match made in heaven as they continue their turnaround with a 2-0 win away to who? Southampton. Okay, they beat the worst team in the league, but at least they are getting these results now, no? Crazy that Southampton beat City in the EFL Cup previously. They beat Chelsea is losing to many teams at the moment. I still feel bad for Vieira, though. I didn't think that he deserved that sacking, but oh well. Another London side that has been struggling and hasn't seen much change since their managerial change, Tottenham, who had their mental fortitude called into question once again by their manager. After Conte questioned it, Stellini questioned it, as well as Tottenham thought they had earned a draw as Danjuma scored in the 88th minute, only for Dango Utada to give Bournemouth the win with a 95th minute strike. What a win at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, by the way, to give them even more life as they try to outrun relegation. And of course, we had Manchester City rip apart Leicester in the first half. What a worldie from John Stones, who does have that in his locker now and then, doesn't he? The man does have a screamer. What a finish that was. Not long after, Grealish won a penalty that Haaland banked in off of the post, but the Norwegian wasn't finished there. Of course, he cannot stop at the moment as Haaland made a great run through the heart of Leicester's defense before scooping it over the onrushing Daniel Iverson in goal for 3-0. What a run, what a finish. Great work from De Bruyne to win it in the midfield, then play Haaland through after driving the ball forward. Iheanacho pulled one back and nearly had another for Leicester as City took off Stones, Haaland, Rodri, and De Bruyne by the 62nd minute, but a relatively controlled win for them all the same. Arsenal, what a way to lose the lead against West Ham. For their part, West Ham did well to, show some fight and put themselves above the drop zone with the point that they rightfully earned here. But Arsenal will be very disappointed in themselves once again after going 2-0 up after just 10 minutes, thanks to goals from Gabriel Jesus and Odegaard. Lovely stuff. They're flying. They'll score a few more. Surely. Well, no. In the 33rd minute, West Ham pulled one back from the spot, and a mad 2-minute spell in the second half would see them draw level. Let's get to that now. First, Bukayo Saka failed to convert from the spot. That's a spicy penalty to have to take, eh? Your team is winning 2-1, but your opponents are showing signs of getting back into it. Then Mikel Antonio gives the pen away with that handball. If Saka converts it, you'd think it 3-1, that's it, game over, but that potential 3-1 turns into a 2-2 draw as Saka puts his penalty wide, and as West Ham attack in the other direction, Jared Bowen finished well past Ramsdale. With the ball falling like that, it's so easy to scuff that finish. Good skill from him there, even if it's not the most glamorous goal you will have seen this weekend. 2-2 the final. That's Two 2-2 draws consecutively in which Arsenal have given up their 2-0 lead. Are they looking over their shoulders a bit? Feels like it, as they watch City play some glittering football. And United versus Forest went swimmingly for United, easing past 2-0 with a goal in each half from Dalot and Anthony. Anthony's first Premier League goal since October. And as we look at the scores and standings, you can see that United have put those 3 points between themselves and Newcastle as they make the most of that Villa victory over Newcastle United. Speaking of, look at Villa, in 6th at the moment. They have played 2 more matches than Brighton and Liverpool. And of course, Arsenal's lead is only 4 points now, but City have a match in hand. It's heating up. I wouldn't want to be chased by this City team. That is definitely unnerving. The stadium that has a special place in my heart for how unique it is, the Estadio de Vallecas, hosted a pretty solid La Liga match on Friday. Real hosting Osasuna. There was some nice football to take in, perhaps the nicest moment being that goal from Isi Palazon for Vallecano. The way he volleyed that into the corner as the ball was moving away from goal, truly impressive. That was Real's second goal, and Osasuna would pull one back in the second half, but still fall 2-1. Villarreal were on such a fantastic run under Quique Setien. They had just a single loss in an 8-match run. They had won 3 consecutively, including a victory over Real Madrid, and then they fall 2-1 at home against Real Valladolid. Kyle Larin set up Amala for the first after just 2 minutes, while Jawed El Yamik scored the second from an Amala assist. 2-1 for Real Valladolid, a massive 3 points for them to put a bit of distance between themselves and the relegation zone. The Basque Derby, Athletic Club versus Real Sociedad, and this was one of those matches where Iñaki Williams was at his sparkling best, really. He was the star of this derby, scoring a brace for Athletic in their 2-0 win over Sociedad, who can't find any consistency in their results lately, but their score lines have been impeccable. 2-0 win over Elche, 2-0 loss against Villarreal, 2-0 win over Getafe, 2-0 loss against Athletic. They love that score line. Win or lose, they'll take it. Espanyol continue to slip down the standings as they were beaten 3-1 away to Betis. They really struggle in generating good scoring opportunities these days, it seems, as I just looked through their chances generated, expected goals, etc. It's looking a bit like Benfica, unfortunately, but their losing streak has them in trouble, big trouble. 6 matches in a row have all ended with Espanyol losing. They were a good mid-table club before in this season, but now they're in that relegation zone, and you gotta say they kind of deserve it. He's done it again, man. I will only shut up about Asensio's scoring record for Real Madrid when he stopped scoring for Real Madrid. He got the start against Cadiz this weekend, as did the ever-trustworthy Nacho Fernandez at left back, and both of them scored in a 4-minute flurry in the second half. Some rotation once again from Real Madrid, as they are looking like they had an eye on that second leg in London, no doubt. 2-0, the final there for Ancelotti's side. Barcelona stopped and stuttered against Getafe for the second match running in La Liga. Last Monday, they drew against Girona 0-0 at home. This weekend, they drew 0-0 away to Getafe. Lewandowski and Rafinha and Balde, all with some nice opportunities that were either saved or blocked or wide of the mark. Lewandowski was back to misfiring again. Just when I thought that his form had returned at the beginning of April, he's been struggling, along with his teammates, just as they did against Girona. However, Barca still have an 11-point lead over Madrid, but there's still 9 matches remaining. It's not impossible for Real. The longest unbeaten run in La Ligas is Athletis, as they won 2-1 over Almeria this weekend to extend their unbeaten run to 13 matches. Even better, 6 wins consecutively for them. Like I said, now that they're out of Europe and just focusing on the league, doing fantastic. And guess who was behind it once again? Antoine Griezmann with the brace. His goal sandwiched Almeria's for that victory. And with that in mind, let's look at the table here. As mentioned, there's that 11-point lead for Barca, as Atleti are 2 points behind Real Madrid now. And there's that gap between the top 3 and the rest of the league. Everyone on the Milan, Inter, Napoli, and Benfica side of the Champions League bracket all struggled this weekend, didn't they? Benfica, they lost this weekend. 2 consecutive losses for them in Portugal. While Inter played against Monza at home, and they lost once again. Not sure what's up with their home form these days. That's 3 consecutive 1-0 losses at home for Inter in Serie A. First and foremost, their strikers are all completely out of form. Dzeko, Lukaku, Lautaro, and Correa, if you want to count him as an out-and-out striker. That's 5 consecutive matches that Inter have failed to win now. Confusing when you compare that to their Champions League or knockout competition form. How did their neighbors AC Milan do? A difficult one for them as well, as they look nothing like the team that beat Napoli midweek. They conceded in the first minute as Nicolo Sansone Simone put Bologna ahead. Tommaso Pobega would equalize for Milan just before halftime, as Milan were dominant in the first half. However, they couldn't convert their opportunities in the second, try as they might. Strike after strike launched towards goal, but nothing came of it. Shout out Bologna. They are greatly improved, man. I can't help but notice, which I think I mentioned previously. But anyway, keep this up and they could catch Juve. And Napoli, yes, they also struggled as they drew 0-0 with relegation embattled Hellas Verona at home. Man, Napoli and Benfica, two teams where people were excited about how they're winning so much and the football they were playing, both slumping when it matters most, unfortunately. Not a good performance from Napoli once again. They nearly took it right at the death, but man, an XG of just 0.70 at home against Verona? Hell no. This is unrecognizable from them. One shot on target, and yes, there was some rotating, but they were rotating at the beginning of the season and still flying. Tough spot for Napoli right now. Lots of draws in Italy this weekend. Lecce Sampdoria 1-1, Torino Salernitana 1-1. But Cremonese got their third win of the season against Empoli, which lifted them out of 20th. Sampdoria are now having beers in the basement. Major audio issues, so we're here recording once again. And Sassuolo have taken the scalp of Juventus to add to their collection. They previously beat Roma, Atalanta, AC Milan. They've had some great results this season, haven't they? De Frel with the winner in the 64th minute, which handed Juve their second consecutive Serie A loss. A bit of a rough patch lately for them. And as you can see with the scores and standings, there was that Roma versus Udinese clash as well. We had Lazio winning 3-0 as they continue to be the closest thing resembling a title contender out of the rest of the league. Napoli still have a 14-point lead. Then the two Rome clubs. Then the two Milan clubs. You know, we're dividing it by city here in Serie A. Oh, the Bundesliga title race. Nobody wants to win it at the moment, it feels like. First, there was Bayern Munich, who were dominant at home against Hoffenheim, but were shot shy. Of course, credit has to be given to Hoffenheim's back line and their keeper, Baumann, as Pellegrino Matarazzo set them up to frustrate Bayern. For Bayern, with Sadio Mane suspended after punching Sane and Choupo-Moting out with an injury, Gnabry started up front again, and it just wasn't clicking out there for Bayern. Pavard put them ahead in the first half, but Kramaric equalized in the second half. Minutes later, it looked as if Pavard had put Bayern back ahead, but that goal was called off for offside, rightfully so. There was a big flurry at the end of the match from Bayern, but Hoffenheim hang on. 1-1 there. How did Borussia Dortmund respond? They drew 3-3 away to Stuttgart, a team with 24 points from 28 matches and who have been hanging around the relegation zone for much of the season. And I mean, disparity in overall ability between these two clubs aside, it gets worse for Borussia Dortmund the more you look into this. They took a 2-0 lead thanks to some more brilliant performances from Daniel Malin, a goal and an assist for Malin, from a worrying bit of form at the start of the season to being their top performing attacker lately, as Adeyemi is still trying to find his form after returning from injury. So a 2-0 lead away, and then Stuttgart went down to 10 men in the 39th minute as Mavropanos got 2 yellows in 4 minutes. Easy money for Dortmund, surely, right? A 2-0 lead over a relegation battling side, and you're a man up as well? In the second half, Dortmund collapsed defensively as Stuttgart scored twice in a 6-minute stretch to draw level in the 84th minute. However, the super sub Gio Reyna did his thing to put Dortmund back ahead 3-2, all's well in the end, right? No, as Stuttgart's super sub, Silas Katopa Mvumpa made it 3-3 and got a point for Stuttgart. Dortmund, they could have taken the lead in the Bundesliga. Once again, the story of the last decade, they slip at the crucial moment and fail to properly punish Bayern Munich. It's getting inexcusable, man. It is inexcusable. Eintracht Frankfurt and Borussia Mönchengladbach, they drew 1-1 also. Man, so many draws this weekend, it feels like. Union and Bochum 1-1 there as well. Köln and Mainz drew 1-1. And hey, we could count on who to score a ton of goals? Schalke. They destroyed Hertha Berlin 5-2 in a shock result this weekend in the Bundesliga. Well, one of the shockers, as Schalke's heated rivals Dortmund, of course, took a shot at the most shocking result of the weekend. Leipzig was also able to continue their turnaround in form after losing 4 out of 5 matches. They have since won 3 matches consecutively. This weekend it was touch and go at times, but they beat Augsburg 3-2. Timo Werner with 2 goals and an assist, as he was easily the man of the match for Leipzig. I love Werner. Admittedly, I love the character of Timo Werner a lot, you know, him off of the pitch and on it as well. But when he's in form, great to watch on the pitch. Great to watch on the pitch. And with Wolfsburg and Leverkusen tying as well, 0-0, you can see that we have a nice little title race, don't we? Bayern with the lead at the moment, 2 points ahead of Borussia Dortmund, though Union and Leipzig are still in the running with 6 matches to go. Oh, and Freiburg, can't forget about them. All right, guys, that's all from me here. I'm going to be traveling around a lot for the next week or so I will not be able to get a Champions League recap out to you, but I'm hoping to be back for the weekend recap next week as well. All right, thanks for your patience at this time. Things will start to get back to normal starting next week or so. Until then, be well, guys. Take care.